Don't forget, 4:30, Jason Cole will join us, our Hall of Fame voter, insider, NFL, Yahoo Sports, and Ice Cube at 5 o'clock. Let's go over to our friend that is doing a great job with Birds 365 and with John McMullen. Guys are breaking it down each and every single day, talking about the injuries and where they're going, how they're going to prepare for Friday's game against the Ravens, what potentially we will see. Our friend Zander Krause. And Zander, appreciate you doing it, brother. By the way, man, channel's blowing up, man, the last couple of days, and we can't thank people enough. Guys, please hit the like button. We're already destroying the likes, and you guys are insane.
Big Sills, what's up, man? Thanks, everybody. And you're right. Big couple of days on the channel, a lot of new members, people joining as a member. I love it. Can't thank everybody enough. Like I said earlier today on Birds 365, we are not a venture-backed company. We are not like we are supported by the people that watch us every single day, the advertisers like BetUS who join us. And we can't thank everybody enough. It goes a long way in helping keep us on the air, continuing to make content on this team every single day. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all. Appreciate it very much.
Put that mic closer to you, man. You're kind of fading out a little bit if you can.
You can't hear me? You got me?
Well, yeah, just a little low there. All right.
What's going on with this thing, man?
I got you here, man. Listen,
right.
I heard you guys say something this morning. And you know what? Again, I want to talk more about the final comment about Hurts and him getting control of the offense when it comes to pass protection. Brady has said it numerous times. For a guy to become a great progression reader and a guy who can read defenses, if he's not setting the pass protection, you're limiting him, because the pass protection is what he sees and where he thinks the pressure's coming from, not where Jason Kelce is. Now, I also want to preference this. Am I in any way saying there's a poor relationship with Jalen and Jason Kelce? Absolutely not. You asked a question today, and that made me realize something. This was a Stoutland, Kelce, and an organizational decision that they would not have the quarterbacks handling the pass protection. I think that limits their development, because nowhere in the league, I checked, where you have an offensive lineman calling pass protection for their quarterback. Not even Caleb Williams is not going to be calling his own pass protection in Chicago, and he's a first-year starter. So, I mean, how did you take it when John said that was more of a Kelce thing? I think Stoutland had to be involved with that. How do you go forward now when you know now that Jalen's saying, I've been waiting for this, I've wanted this, and it's finally here? He really now completely has control of this offense.
Yeah, he really does. I don't view it as a negative thing. I think, I asked John the question we talked about yesterday with when Carson Wentz was here, what was the breakdown? And he said Jason Kelce called the protections for Carson Wentz as well. So maybe this is just a Kelce thing where you have a Hall of Fame center and you use him and you take some pressure off the quarterback, let him worry about everything else. But I do think you're right in that you might not be setting your quarterback up properly to really get the most out of your offense when you don't have the protections in his hands. And I think Jalen knows that. And that's part of the reason he made that comment. I didn't, because I was thinking about what you said yesterday. We're like, is it not a slight on Kelce, but is it no, it's not. I don't think it is that. But
I'm not either. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's uncommon to see that and hear that a quarterback doesn't have complete control over the pass protection and also the routes that his receivers are running. So here's Zander. Here's what I'm saying. Maybe when he gets to the line of scrimmage after he says set and Kelce goes down, all of a sudden they change the where the pressure's coming from, weak side or strong side. Hurts sees something different and thinks the pressure's coming from this side, where Kelce has already called fan protection towards the weak side or strong side. And you're sitting here going, wait a minute here. I think it's coming from here. And the center thinks it's coming from here. That's a disconnect. And it's a communication disconnect. I'm not saying a friendship. I'm not saying lack. The quarterback sees it differently, standing up,
it's
looking at it versus the guy that's over like this.
Yeah, no doubt. It's two different sets of eyes, just like you and I see things differently, or me and anybody else in the chat. You're spot on. So I think it's a good thing that Hurts gets it. I guess it's something to watch, right? Like, how good is he at it? Is he going to be, is it going to help him with the blitz pickup? Maybe it's a positive thing.
I think
Maybe
it
it
is.
helps him. You think it will?
You know why? The last time he had decision-making processes was 22. And the last time Jalen Hurts
I don't
made
know if he
decisions,
had him in 22.
wait a minute, I'm going to show you. Dude, when you run an RPO, nobody telling you who to hand the ball off to or to throw it when you have run-pass option.
That's
He had
very
3
true.
different options.
Hurts was a weapon in the RPO because it was all in his hands. You're
and
right.
Remember what Wink said? We knew they weren't committed to running it. And when they took the other weapon out, that's when you knew he didn't have control of the offense. So I'm talking about it's going to look different, Zander, but he's going to have more control this year like he did in 22. The RPO is being taken away by Barkley. So you add that dynamic to it. Look, if I'm a coordinator, I walk to the line of scrimmage and I see this. Well, shit, Barkley's back there. I gotta protect the A gaps, and I gotta know there's any time that this guy could run the ball between the tackle. This guy's a top flight back. I can't just cheat like I would and walk back because I know the only threat was the quarterback. Now I've got to keep my water here, and I gotta wait. And I'm looking over at AJ and Devontae at the numbers now. You're keeping a defense honest now with having a guy like Barkley. He's a hell of a decoy back there because without him back there, it's going to be the 22 offense all over again.
So do you think it's a good thing they're going to get away from the RPO? I don't know. Maybe they won't fully, but do you think it's a good thing because it will give Hurts the opportunity to keep things in his hands, but in a more traditional pro style offense that might be more able to be used on a longer term timeline? I don't know how long the RPO works in the NFL. Like it worked in 22, but if you were going back to it year after year after year, I think teams start to adjust to that and fit and stall and, know how to stop it. So I think it's a positive thing to put it back in Hurts' hands, but keep him in that more traditional NFL style offense.
I think they've replaced it with read option. I think I've seen a lot more or heard a lot more read option. It's kind of a pseudo RPO.
Yeah.
Where you're doing this. They're not throwing it. You're either going to hand it to him.
It's a pseudo RPO. That's a good.
It's a pseudo RPO that because you now have the weapon in Barkley. Okay. See, Barkley, here's Barkley's influence in the offense. Pass protection, read option, and obviously running the ball. Which means what? All three of those things dictate time of possession. If Barkley is healthy and he plays 15 games this year, and the Eagles are in the top 5 in time of possession, dude, they're going to go a long way.
They're going to win a lot of football games.
They're going to win a ton of games, and they're going to –
because that also minimizes how much that defense is on the field, and that's your liability on the football team compared to the offense. So if they do that, boy, I mean, the things that you just said, if they're top 5 in that time of possession, I think my prediction of 13 wins is going to be right on the number. I mean, I know everybody called me crazy or a homer or eagle-colored glasses, but if this offense is able to click and get, let's say 30 points a game or somewhere in that range and control the ball for a majority of the time, I mean, it's going to be tough to beat this team. It really is going to be tough to beat this team. I mean, so we're going to see, but look, I love my prediction of 13 wins. I'm going to be laughing all the way to the bank, Big Sills. What'd you have on that? 7, 8, 9?
You have a Super Bowl. You have a Super Bowl offense, but let me get to now Two Deep Vic. And let's go over here to Two Deep Vic now. I mean, hey, dude, be prepared. This thing's going to be zone defense, 2 deep, and you're going to be a ton of completions.
Well, we knew that.
And a ton of offense that's going to be put on that defense. And by the way, Zander, I'm going to say it on August 8th. Dude, Devin White is blowing in camp. Okay? He's blowing in camp. I watched that interview. This guy's all yap, man.
I like the way Howie does business, though.
Jeremiah Trotter's out playing him.
Well, I don't know about that. He's been good. He's been the Mike linebacker. He's pretty solid in coverage because he's fast. He's not instinctive, and that's the problem with him. So when you're a linebacker and you take one false step, you're never going to get back into position. I don't care how fast you are. That's the problem with Devin White, or that's the concern. I think he's going to be all right, though. I mean, I'm not as high on him as a lot of people are, but I don't need him to be the greatest linebacker in the league. I just need him to be competent. I need you to be mediocre. I will say I'm kind of excited about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. apparently he's looked like a better version of Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean is falling off a cliff.
And what I hear, he's getting more reps.
He's getting a lot more reps. Let me answer this. Forrest says, Xander, the goal is to give out 17 Barkley jerseys. It's actually 20, Forrest, because if they go to the playoffs, we're going to do it in the playoffs too, obviously. So the goal would be to give out 20. 20 jerseys would be epic. So, wow, that's the goal.
That's Zander Cook. There you go, baby. Marshall,
what up, Big Marsh?
Appreciate that, man. Hey, hey, how about this? So the greatest statistic of all time, of course, is the completions or the non-interception by that guy ESP, man, who broke a record in Eagle Camp that stood the test of time. One thing I will say, let me be Big Sills here. So that means your defense hasn't done dick for 3 weeks. I mean, dude, can you make a play? I mean, anything? You made one pick in 3 weeks? Hey, there's a reason that Vic is having multiple combinations at corner, and you're moving Jalen Carter and even trying him at edge to try to get some pressure. I'm like, dude, make a play, no? Are you concerned about the fact that that team – now, again, maybe there's I know a ton of guys who don't practice well too. But for 3 weeks, dude, you don't make a play?
Listen, we're going to say real quick I think – remember we have that joint practice next week, but you're playing the Patriots. So it's like that offense sucks. So you're not going to learn that much, but no, you're right. I mean, it's definitely a concern, but Big Sills, coming into the year, we knew that the defense was a liability. They're also playing an offense that we're hoping is a top 5 offense in the league. So there's context that can be added to it. I see what you're saying. I mean, you don't want to have the 31st ranked pass defense in the NFL again. That's going to be too big to overcome. If you have Super Bowl aspirations, but I'm not going to sound the alarm on them yet. I want to see some games being played. I want to see what Vic does. My concern isn't with Vic Fangio. My concern is he doesn't have the guys he needs to have a competent defense. And you're right. He does do that, bend but don't break defense. That's his entire style. But, it's going to come down. Those linebackers are a big piece of a Vic Fangio defense. And they're just not very good here. So we're going to see how it goes out. But if we can do what you said earlier, shit, man, you're going to be all right with that defense. If that offense is putting up 30 a game and in top 5 in possession, you're not going to worry about that defense so much because it's going to be hard to it's going to be hard to put up the amount of points that teams need to put up to beat us, if the offense is humming like that. So, but where it's going to really matter is the playoffs. That's when margins get tighter. Defense needs to come up with a stop, and we'll see how they play it. But yeah, it's a little concerning, I guess you could say. It's a double-edged sword because you're like, I'm excited about the offense, but every time they have a great day, then you're like, do we worry about the defense? If the defense is good, you're like, man, does the offense suck? So it's a double-edged sword. I got to wait till a game is played before I make a
So you'd have more concern. You'd have more concern, and I guess so would I, if I heard this. Man, the defense is doing really great, and the offense is sucking.
Yeah. I mean,
we'd have more concern with that, right?
That would be a lot more concerning given the amount of talent on the offensive side of the football, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Xander, are you going to give 2 roster spots to Johnny Wilson and Aniyah Smith?
I think the Eagles are going to. Well, you pigeonhole yourself like John.
Lack of depth at D tackle and lack of depth at linebacker.
You're going to apparently those backup DTs have looked pretty good in camp. We had Jeff Kerr on this morning who's been at practice for 8 of the 10 practices. He said Moro Ajomo has looked very good in camp. He was a draft pick last year out of Texas. And Marlon Tuipulotu, who, I don't know what he's going to be, but apparently they've looked serviceable. You got to remember, these are backups. You don't need them to be great, but I'd like an extra guy in that room. But I don't know.
Wait a minute. Howie spoiled me with Linval Joseph and Adamican Sue.
Well, if we remember, those came late in the year. So if we need to, talent acquisition season is not over yet. It's not, you're not at your prime period of doing it, but it's not over yet. So Howie could still make a moves on the wide receiver front, though. I like Johnny Wilson. I don't think that's a bad move. I think where you pigeonhole yourself is they're probably not going to cut a draft pick in the modern NFL. Cutting draft picks it's a lot different. Teams don't like to do it. So what do you do with the receivers? Do you keep, I don't know. You're the whole wide receiver 3 group is nothing special where, if you cut Paris Campbell, is it that big of a loss? Or you cut John Ross, is it that big of a loss? I don't think so. So they're going to keep the young guys. I think Johnny Wilson adds an element to the offense that that's valuable with the size and the catch radius. And he's pretty good route running. So if you watch his tape in college, he doesn't run like a 6'7" dude. He runs like a 6'3" dude. And it's pretty good. So I'm not gonna shit on that yet.
I think your wide receiver group reminds me of 3 dudes standing at Wawa trying to get a Slurpee. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, we also have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. So what the heck's your point?
Well, I'm just saying you're playing with 10 versus 11 every day because you don't have anybody over there. Our defense couldn't stop a nosebleed with Tyrod Taylor at the helm, giving me for being a little bit reserved when it comes to how great this offense has been doing.
It's true, Daniel. You're spot on, brother. You're not wrong for thinking that at all. You're right. You're right on the number. And I think what I said about the defense is going to apply to the offense as well. Let's see it. We got to see it in a game. I mean, look. Here's the other thing, though, Daniel.
Yep. You muted it.
You got me now?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
The problem with that, Daniel, we can only analyze where we are right now. Unfortunately, I can't analyze the offense versus an NFL defense yet. So what we've heard right now has been positive. That's all I can give you. You're right, though. You shouldn't go overboard on it yet. We got to see what they're able to do.
August 8th. I'm going to ask you this every day. Justin Simmons.
No. They're not going to do it. I would be all right with it, but I don't think they're going to do it. So, we'll see.
I personally don't think you have the right guys at safety. If you had better linebackers, I think you get away with what you got back there.
Well, why?
You got as
like
much,
safety? You don't like
as much inexperience as you have, except for Gardner Johnson. I get Reed, but Reed's Reed. I mean,
yeah, he's just a guy. He's not an impact guy. Yeah.
He's not horrible. He's not.
No, he's not horrible at all. I mean, his numbers were good last year. He was a solid player out there, but he's not a difference maker. But you're not going to have difference makers all over the field. It's just a reality when you have this offense.
Talking about somebody good.
Well, this is why some people, not everybody, actually a majority of people didn't, but you could argue that Saquon Barkley wasn't the right signing when you have an offense as good as it was, and you go over and maybe you sign the guy Xavier McKinney who got $17 million. And then you bolster that back end. But they didn't go that route. How, this team values offense, and it's not just Howie. It's from the top. It's Jeffrey Lurie. They value offense, and they've shown that. So you're not going to have, top caliber guys on the defense all over the field. You're just not. You got to figure out a way to win with it. We did in 22. We got all the way to the end in 22, and we almost got a win, but we didn't. And that's what they're going to continue to do. So I wouldn't I wouldn't be excited for a big changing of the guard coming soon where they spend buku bucks on, linebackers and safeties in Philly. It's just not going to happen. It's very unlikely.
No, I would never expect them to ever go outside of who they are and what they do, because they've made it very clear who they are and what they do. They do a lot of great things. They surely get in the way of themselves here. By the way, please hit the like button here. Why is it so hard for the Eagles to just say that Mekhi Becton's the right guard?
Well, I don't think they know yet. I mean, I think he's looked better there, but he's played tackle his whole life. I mean, let's see what this guy can do. I think he's in the running. By the way, the depth chart that's put out is put out by the communications department. It's Bob Lang. It's not the coaches. It's the first depth chart to do it because they have to do it, based on.
What do you think? Bob sat on the shitter and made that?
No, I don't think he sat on the shitter, but I don't think the coaches were like, okay, make sure you don't put any, like, they were like, these are our guys. They're reading the same reports we are, probably the communications department, are watching the practice, and they put who they put. They had Tyler Steen as the starting right guard on the depth chart. So I don't, we're going to see on Mekhi Becton. I'm optimistic on him. I like the size. I like the talent. I like the upside, but he's never played guard in his life. And he was kind of a letdown in New York with the Jets, coming out of the draft. So he's still a guy you have to wait and see on. I don't think they're just going to give him the position. I don't think earning it is a big problem. Do you?
No.
Well, no. Then what's your point?
My point is, I mean, Steen's been injured and he hasn't played at all in the exhibition season. How do you think he's going to get ready? Now, there's still time. So maybe it is still early before they haven't even played the first exhibition game yet. So, but dude, I don't think Steen's that. I don't know.
I don't either. I'm not sold on Tyler Steen.
I don't think that guy, and that's a Bama boy, right?
Yeah. Yep. He was a Bama guy. Yeah.
I just don't see it quite yet. Now I'm gonna lean on Jeff Stoutland.
WCBJJ says making the depth chart on the shitter.
Making
you only get that with big sales, everybody. Wait, okay, Akbar Divine, he brings up a good point. Watch Akbar. This is why I don't bring it up. Ready? Zay, why you never tell Sills that Reed scored 14th in PFF and Simmons scored in the 40s per Johnny Mac?
Because one guy's an all-pro and the other guy was making tackles on a defense that was 31st in pass defense. You're going to have those guys make a lot of tackles back there. How can a guy be ranked 14th on the 31st ranked pass defense? That's like telling me I am the tallest guy in the land of little trees. I mean, what are you fucking telling me? You were the second worst pass defense in the league, and you're trying to sell me on anybody who played well back there last year. Give me a break. How's that for you, Akbar? You're 31st in pass defense. Good grief. Okay. No, he's great. Okay. Yeah. All right, Zander. Here's another one. Tell me who I am here. Beep, 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 beep. By the way, some of you, that's Morse code for SOS. I'm sending an SOS out to Bryce Huff, just in case anyone has seen him. We have the Carpathia, and we're getting ready to try to save the passengers on the Titanic. Can somebody please send boats? I'm 3 hours out. 3 hours? Holy shit, I'll be at the bottom of the Atlantic. Somebody better send an SOS to John McMullen or some smoke signals, because that dude right now, man, holy shit. Help me, Zander. Help me.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and the worst part is the goalpost is moving on him. You know, originally when he was signed, he was going to be the 3-down guy that Vic Fangio needed. You could drop him into coverage. You could do a lot of stuff with him. Now we're back to just, we just need him to get after the passer, for $17 million. And that's what you're going to get from him. I don't even know if you're going to get that. He got 10 sacks last year. Everyone keeps pointing to that, but the Jets stunk last year. How many of those sacks came late in the game? I don't know exactly the stats. So we'd have to see. I know he had a couple sacks, I think, against the Eagles last year, but I don't know. We're gonna see on him, man. I'm closer to you in this than I'd like to admit. I'm getting a little nervous on Bryce Huff because if he doesn't contribute, boy, that pass rush is going to struggle. But we had Josh Davis on this morning on Birds 365. He was great. He has a good channel on YouTube, the Philly Special Show, blown up. Great, does really, really great work. And he's like, it's a good point, though. I mean, if he gets, forget 15, if he gets 10 sacks and the defense has to think about him or the offensive line has to think about him, that's going to create tons of lanes for Jalen Carter. If Jalen Carter is getting single covered, he's going to wreak havoc on that interior. So if you can create those mismatches, it doesn't all have to come down on Huff. He does have other guys on that line that will help him. So we'll see. But you're right. I mean, Bryce Huff has been a whole lot of nothing so far in camp. But look, we're 10 days into camp. We're going to forget about what we talked about on August 8th when the game starts. So I don't really care. All right. If he goes out there and has 2 sacks versus Green Bay, guess who's not going to be saying SOS? Big Sills.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. How about this one? What have y'all heard about Julian Akwar? I don't know. Who is
Julian
that?
Akwar. No, you haven't heard much, Abraham. You haven't heard much at all from him.
Who? Hey, wait a minute. I want you to do me a favor, too, from now on when John McMullen says that this guy's a great pass rusher. No. He had a great season in his 5 years. He had not a great pass rusher. He had a great season. He's had 3 previous. He's not a great pass rusher. Great pass rushers are consistent year in and year out, not 1 year. That's not a great pass rusher yet. Reddick is a great pass rusher because he's done it 5 years or 4 years in a row.
And that's all he's good at.
Okay. At least he's good at one thing.
Yeah.
And I don't have to send SOSs out. Hey, Can you do me a favor? Please send the flares.
Boy,
Dude, we're almost at the flares now with Huff.
If Big Sills is right on Bryce Huff, folks, we're gonna have a problem on defense because you're just gonna have nothing coming from the edges. I mean, I like Josh Sweat and all, but he's not an impact type of guy. He's a rotational guy. He's a solid player. He's not an impact player. So if Bryce Huff is not going to go out and get you 12 to 15 sacks, I mean, you could be in trouble on that edge. They might need to go and get somebody in the year that can contribute. I mean, Brandon Graham's out there, but he's 36. I mean, you're 35. I mean, you're not going to rely on him. Nolan Smith is a first-round pick, but I don't think you can rely on him. You're in trouble if Bryce Huff can't contribute.
Let me say this to you, man. This thing here with this Nolan Smith is getting glossed over too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Hey, I don't want to hear, well, he's looking decent in camp. No, kid. They drafted you as the heir apparent to truly take over for Reddick. You're taken as a specialized pass rusher. And when I hear people going like this, he's getting a little better, put a little weight. Hey, fuck that. You drafted that guy in the first round. You're talking about a UDFA with the way you talk about Nolan Smith. That, to me, this guy has to step up. Even if you get 10 from Bryce Huff, he's got to be between 8 and 10. He can't just be this, Zander. Well, he's a young player and he's developed. Dude, last year they were looking for edge rushers and they were looking for pressure and they didn't get it from him. Now, they didn't put him out there. I don't know why they didn't. They weren't good. And now all of a sudden we're like, well, Nolan Smith is still learning and he's in the process. You're like, homeboy, this ain't a GI Bill. Dude, we got
They're
a lot
not going
of
to give up on him, though, man. They're
on.
not. I mean, Brandon Graham was a 13th overall pick for the Eagles, and it took him 4 or 5 years to get going. I'm not saying to give him 4 or 5 years. I'm just saying they're not going to give up on the player. I agree with you. He should be contributing to the football team, but I'm just saying they're going to give him time. As much as you may or may not like that, they're going to give him time for sure. And to me, he doesn't. I don't know. My philosophy is not what the Eagles is. I prefer. I don't like these undersized, fast edge rushers. I prefer the big guys that can wreck a game, that are powerful, that can set an edge, and that have more to their game. So, but the Eagles don't like that. They go like Hassan Reddick and Nolan Smith types, which that's their prerogative. I'm not control of the team, so I can only analyze it. But you wonder what we'll see what Nolan Smith can do.
Here's Prince here. I swear people didn't play football. If you watched last season, Reed sucked. He was getting burned and arriving late to plays. It's easy to tackle when are the second person to the guy. PFF stat, please help me out there. That's right. Hey, when the next
Prince,
thing
you just spent $10 to give Sileo 3 days worth of content. All right, Prince. You just gave him Prince, 3 days worth of content.
Justin Simmons, Prince. Justin Simmons.
He's about to sign
Instead, you know what you're going to get with those safeties? You're going to get a reach around with those safeties. Between Reed Blankenship and Chicken Wing Gardner Johnson. By the way, it's great to see that he's back out there practicing again. Holy shit, man.
He wasn't out there yesterday.
Oh, he wasn't? Oh, no. Thank you. Hey, that's comforting. Hey.
Prince, did you have to do it, Prince? Did you have to do it?
Hey, Zander, how about this? I'm going to do something that I despise, that in my years doing broadcasting, I freaking hate doing this. I'm going to go against my word here. Why do I think this is going to be the year of Dallas Goedert?
I think you're right.
I think he's had a sensational camp. I do, man.
Yeah,
I think he's had a
Kellen Moore likes tight ends. But also, by the way, you were talking about that third wide receiver a lot. They've been running a lot of 12 personnel with 2 tight ends on the field, and Grant Calcaterra has had a good camp so far.
Yes.
No, now remember, I'm not going to, sit here and tell you Grant Calcaterra is going to be this great impact on the team, but the questions on him were never that, like, he's always been a very good receiver of the football as a tight end. He was all the way back to his college days. The question on him was that the concussion thing, and that's why he slipped in the draft. Took him a little bit to turn the corner. Now, if he takes one crack to the dome, he's done. He's gone. So I hope it doesn't happen. Obviously, God forbid. We never want to see that happen, especially head injuries, which make me sick to my stomach. I remember when I saw Tua go down and his finger, I literally almost puked that night when I was watching that on the TV. I struggle with watching that stuff. But, I think that's going to minimize the use of the wide receiver 3. And we'll see what I think you're right. I think Goddard has a big year this year. I kind of pushed back on John about this, and I'm like, look, Goddard's gonna have a big year. He's like, oh, you can't with AJ and Devontae. Stop. He's a top 5 tight end regardless of the numbers. And I'm like, look, I think Goddard has a big year this year. Right? He's at 830 yards. That's the most amount of yards he's ever had in his season. That's not a top 5 tight end production. I don't care how you slice it.
And at 15 million.
I know, and everybody gets so mad at me in the chat when I say I think he's overrated. I don't think the player is overrated. I think his use on this team has been drastically overrated. He's not been a top 5 tight end on this team. If you went and put him on the Chiefs or somebody else, yeah, he would be a top 5 tight end. I know he's got the talent, but 830 yards is not top 5 tight end. I'm sorry. It's just not. So I think he has a big year this year, though. I think Kellen Moore's smart. I think he's going to be like, look, we got to get this guy into the offense. Use that middle of the field. It'll open things up for AJ and Devontae on the outside. I like Dallas Goedert. I think you're right projecting he has a big year this year.
Reed was literally the best cover safety before the collapse per Pro Football Focus. Way to read half the book. He led the league in all pro votes per safety before
All right, I got a fundraiser. We're going to do a fundraiser for charity. Bald Eagle versus Prince in a boxing match. Big Sills is the referee. If I can get Big Sills off his couch and out of the Dan cave, we'll have him referee it. Prince versus what's his name? Bald Eagle, baby.
Hey, Bald Eagle. You know, when the Titanic first sailed, man, it was considered a luxury ship, and when it went down and was at the bottom, it was just considered trash. So you got to know the whole journey. You know what I'm saying? Not just half the journey. Hey, everyone's having shrimp and caviar halfway through. And now you're fish food. So, I mean, hey, Bald Eagle, it's the full trip, kid. You know, go with me here. Hey, by the way, I want to hook you up on Jalen Hunt or Jalix Hunt, is it?
Yeah.
Is that the kid's name?
Yes, that's his name. That's his name, Big Sills. Do your homework, all right, Big Sills?
Well, I only do homework on people that are actually going to contribute. So, wait, Jalix Hunt? It was a Jalen Hunt. Okay. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me kind of a experimental plane. You know, the one that John Denver put in the ocean? It's either going to take off and fly, or it's going to do exactly like the John Denver experimental plane. It's either going to fly or it's going to hit the ocean. That's what this kid as an experiment is for the Eagles. He's either going to hit and turn into be one of the best pass rushers in the league, or this guy's going to crash and burn. There's no gray area. He's not going to just be decent.
No,
but you know what? A 3rd-round pick? That's pretty high, homie. That's a pretty big pick for a guy who played at Colgate.
Colgate's generous. I don't even think it was Colgate. I think it was like, what was it? Houston Christian, which is like a new
No, he
school.
started at Colgate and then went to like Houston Christian.
Oh, did he? He started at Colgate. See, now
I think he was a safety.
Yeah, apparently he's looked okay in camp. I mean, you know, was it yeah? I knew it wasn't Colgate.
Oh, Cornell. Oh,
excuse me, Colgate. I'm like, I didn't go to Colgate.
Excuse me, I didn't get my Ivy League decoder bring out.
Yeah, I knew he didn't go to Colgate. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. I knew he came from an Ivy Toothpaste University. No, get out of here, Big Sills.
We got MMA.
These guys are now. Prince says we can do MMA as well. Sills does hate reading. That's not his strong suit. All right, he's a Miami.
Colgate, Cornell. Does it fucking matter?
Bald Eagle got to go 12 rounds with the champ. Prince says I will win Zander hands down. So maybe we'll arrange the battle of Prince and Bald Eagle. Make it happen. My money. I don't know if I want to pick yet. My money's on Prince because he's a member of the channel. Bald Eagle's just a guy. Become a member and maybe I'll give you some.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Come on, Bald Eagle. Man up here. By the way, do you remember watching that one cartoon when you were a kid? It was called Casper the Ghost. You know, it's kind of like
I hated that show. I hated that movie.
Okay. Casper the Ghost, right?
Of course, that's a Big Sills movie.
Okay. Well, no, because I'm watching that movie play out now at Novacare, and the guy playing the leading role is Nakobe Dean. And I'm just like and I'm just like sitting here
featuring Bryce Huff.
Hey, tell me something. Why is that? Hey, dude, he's getting killed in practice.
Yeah, he's struggling immensely. He's not looking good in coverage. And then you just, everybody's like, oh, well, he's good in the blitz and he's good against run defense. And then your defensive coordinator comes out and he's like, oh, yeah, you need linebackers that can cover in the modern NFL. And Nakobe Dean apparently can't cover anybody. He can't cover a traffic cone. So I don't think Nakobe Dean's going to be seeing much playing time this year. I know a lot of people are still high on him or still believe he's going to be an impact on the team. Even John McMullen, he's like, my money's still on Nakobe Dean starting. If he starts, I think that would be a Howie Roseman thing, not a Vic Fangio thing, which could potentially spell some trouble. I don't think you want your GM picking who's playing on the field. I know he was a third-round pick, but yeah, he's struggling, Big Sills. And everybody has said it. I mean, it's not just John. It's every reporter that's been down there. Nakobe Dean can't cover anybody. So, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't. Do you want me to debate you on it? Because I can't.
No,
You're going to win.
Because I've been right since day one. So, no. The most perplexing person on the roster is James Bradbury.
Okay, why?
His role here. What are we doing with it? I mean, what did he get? He got some snaps at slot. And he got some slots and he got some reps in nickel. What are we doing? What's I mean, you're paying a guy $12 million. I'm trying to figure this one out here. And I don't want to, if you're going to play your young guys, Jason goes, he's a backup safety. He's a backup safety that's never played safety in the league. That's not a position for him.
Yeah, but
why do you think he's on the team?
I think he's on the team because Howie's trying to boost his value to make a move on him. And what you're going to see happen is,
so you think desperation will be for a team?
Howie's stubborn, and Howie's stubbornness is part of what makes him good. So you got to take the good with the bad. You have to understand that, as a GM. But I think there's two people involved in this that have two different objectives. And Vic Fangio is looking at the guys on the roster. He's not thinking about trading James Bradbury, and he looks at him and he says, "That's a guy I can use, or that's a guy I can, keep in my defense." Versus Howie's looking at him like, when can I get my opportunity to get something of value back for him? So I think there are two guys playing two different games. And the longer he's around, the more Vic Fangio is going to want to use him. And we'll see what he ends up doing. I don't think he's a bad guy to keep on the roster. He's a real good professional. He's been around the league for a while. He's had an all-pro season. He had it a couple years ago. I know he struggled last year, but, maybe he's a depth corner. He's a depth safety. He's just a secondary guy. And apparently he's looked all right at safety. He's looked pretty good, and it makes sense. He was a zone-based corner, so he's a smart guy. He got a good football IQ. Maybe he can be competent at safety. He just got done telling me, you're done with Reed Blankenship and chicken wing Johnson. Maybe he can be a contributor.
Justin Simmons.
All right, we'll see.
No, well, at least I'm talking about a competent safety.
They're going to give, why has nobody picked him up? It's August 8th.
Money.
Yeah, the guy wants $14 million and not a team in the league.
Dennis Allen said this. We had a nice visit with him. I don't know where it's going. It's up to really Justin. Justin's dictating everything that's going on. And
yeah,
Dennis
Justin's
Allen even
probably
said,
going to take an ego hit because
there's multiple teams that have contacted him. He said this was Dennis Allen saying that, the head coach of the Saints. Okay,
Jack, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Love when people become members. Thank you, Jack. We appreciate it very much.
Bald Eagle, where the fuck are you now? Let's go here, kid.
Bald Eagle ran for the fences when Prince.
Holy cow, man! Come on, Bald Eagle. You can't just come parachuting in here and be like a phony ass Eagle fan. You're either in or you're not, dog.
That's a
this
TKO.
Is like the mafia, man.
That's a TKO.
This ain't like the boys' choir.
That's a
you're
TKO.
Either in or you're out. What?
That's a TKO, a technical knockout for Prince, who challenged him, and Bald Eagle ran for the fences. Bald, you still here?
I hear you guys talking, and I'm still saying this, and I'm sold on it now. And maybe this changes next week. I don't know. But do you agree? Rodgers, Gardner Johnson, Reed, and Slay with Avante Maddox. By the way, I heard Maddox was playing a little safety too. So, I mean, that's how your secondary is going to shake out right now. That looks like a Vic Fangio secondary.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think they're going to prioritize getting Quinyon Mitchell on the field. So We'll see what they end up doing with him. It's going to be interesting when DeJean comes back because it's like, who do they move out? You know, you have Isaiah and Keely fighting for that outside corner right now, but if they bring DeJean back and put him at the slot, they're probably going to bump those other two dudes right away for the first-round draft pick. And I don't know if they'd be wrong to do that. Quignon showed pretty good signs. I know you don't want to just give a guy a spot because he's a first-rounder, but if he's looked competent or looked, you know, comparable to Isaiah, they're going to give him the spot. They got a way bigger investment in that guy, and he's got a way bigger upside.
But Zander, here's the problem with just putting a young player at corner like that. If you're not getting pressure and your backers are not allowing you to make plays, and the only people that are your last line of defense are your safeties, this is what happened to the 31st ranked pass defense last year. You didn't get pressure, you couldn't cover, you couldn't tackle, and your corners were on an island out there, and they were exposed. Do you know what the difference was between 22's defense and the 23 defense was this? The volume of high percentage routes being completed. Early on, you had so much volume of pressure. Zander, your routes go 7 yards. Before you know it, the quarterback's getting hit and put on the ground. Last year, what you had was you had guys getting full routes all the way and pushing the secondary back because there was no pressure. That's why those secondary guys couldn't play center field like they did in 22. If that dynamic doesn't get better, and that's why Vic is moving all those linebackers around, trying to create all kinds of different types of looks and pressures. I hear he's blitzing like a maniac. That's not Vic Fangio's style of defense. He's blitzing, and he's blitzing like hell in practice. He's telling you right now he doesn't like the pressure he's seeing.
Yeah, but I have a hard time believing that defensive front's not going to get pressure. If you're in a 5-man front and you have Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and Bryce Huff, forget Bryce Huff needing to get to the quarterback. That's a defensive line that's going to create pressure. Who's blocking all those dudes?
I'm talking
Jalen
about
Carter is one-handed tossing Mekhi Becton out of the way. He is a talented player. He is a force to be reckoned with.
The majority of your pressure the last 2 years has not come from interior; it's come from exterior.
Yeah, well, we haven't had Jalen Carter. We had him last year, but he was a rookie. Give him a chance. I think this guy's
your best pass rusher was Fletcher Cox.
I know, and he's gone now. So you're counting on what's his name, that Jalen and Jordan to pick up that load. But I think they're gonna. I mean, if you get Jordan Davis in a one-on-one situation, he's not blockable. I know he might not be what people want him to be, but he's too big and too powerful and too strong, man. He just is. No interior offensive lineman is blocking him. No way. So I think you're going to get the pressure. I think the question is going to be in the secondary, but I think the defensive line will do their part this year. I really do. It all comes down to them, so they better.
Against my better judgment of saying this, I'm working on a ship. Man, I hope you're not that ship that hit that Baltimore bridge. And
Paul, thanks for the Superman. We appreciate you being here.
Hey, Gold Eagle, I hope you're not on one of those ships that just go astray and they just hit bridges and shit. I hope you're at least on a military ship where I can give you a salute, dog. Because if you're on one of them ships, dog, holy cow, man. Woo! Being on a ship with some dude named Chip sitting in my bunker next to me, I don't know, bro. I'm not working there with that.
Paul, thank you, brother. We appreciate the super chat.
Yeah, I do, man. Hey, thank you very much. Bald Eagle. All good, man.
Despite the maniac on the right side of your screen, we appreciate the left side of your screen.
I just hope you ain't on one of them boats, dog. Hey, look out the bridge.
All right, so Big Cells, you got Ice Cube today. You gonna ask Ice Cube
5 o'clock.
You gonna ask my man Ice Cube about Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
All right, I was curious to see what he thinks.
Absolutely. When I ask him about Hurts,
they're making Jalen Hurts the face of the league. You see that too, right?
Why? Because he threw a football in a cauldron? Because he threw a football. Dude, nobody from Philly. Oh, I'm going to end it with this. Do you think Nick Foles should be in the Eagle Ring of Honor Hall of Fame?
No doubt. Absolutely. We got one Super Bowl ring in how many years, Big Sills? The guy. It's David versus Goliath, and he slayed him, Big Sills. He destroyed him. Not only did he throw the ball over the yard with 3 touchdowns, but he caught a tutty. And then Tom tried to do the same, and he failed.
God. Can you imagine Super Bowl?
Nick Foles deserves to be in the Eagle Hall of Fame. I don't care what anybody says.
So he had 4 TDs in that game, right?
Yeah, 4 TDs.
Dude, I didn't realize in the NFC title game against the Vikings, he threw for 353 also.
Yeah.
So he went 353 and then 373 in consecutive games.
Big Sales, you turn those lights up a little bit. Nick Foles is like, it's my time to shine, baby. It's my time to shine.
I'll say that, man. Zander, where are we in the likes, brother?
I think we're killing it, man. I got to get my man Prince. Prince has been killing it. I got to upgrade Prince. I got to look into how to do that. Prince needs to be upgraded from a standard moderator to, I don't know, an upgraded. I don't know if it's 2 wrenches or
Crowley's
a gold
been
wrench.
helping me a lot today. I'll give Crowley some love.
Crowley's I love Crowley. Crowley's I love everybody. We have great viewers. We really do. I mean, they have great comments. They're, you know, I like my new thing now is JAKIB Big Sales is the voice of the fan. Everybody has a voice here. We try and get everybody involved. You read everybody's comments, even the ones that you vehemently disagree with. This is the voice of the fan. There's not many other places you can go and voice your opinion and have it heard, read, and talked about. And I take pride in that. I think that's a great thing. I love all the viewers. I love everybody that supports our channel. And I hope they love our channel as much as I love them, because we appreciate them very much.
We couldn't do this without them. I mean, yeah. I learned that the hard way from the beginning. Hey, Sills, you're only getting 102 views. We changed that picture around.
That's a lot of credit to you too, though. Guy's been doing it for 36 years, 40 years, and you're like, I got to switch up what I'm doing. And you did it. You took it. You ran with it, and the show has become very powerful. We get calls from the Eagles weekly about this sucker. So, you know, that's a merit badge, and I know you love that merit badge. That's your favorite one.
I sure do, man. When that girl calls, Bob, I love it. Hey, do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. By the way, normal schedule for Birds 365?
Yep, normal schedule. So I think it's looking like a normal schedule next week too. They have that joint practice, and then they have the preseason game next week is Thursday. So they have Friday this week and then Thursday next week. I don't know what we're going to learn from these things other than what the depth on the team looks like and maybe a little bit about your backup quarterbacks. But other than that, I don't think they're going to play many guys that are, you know, that everybody's excited about. But, you know, it's still fun. It's football. It's Eagles football out there on the field, you know, throwing the ball around. So it's fun for that reason. But we'll see.
Make sure when you get Colorillo on, man, you tell him I understood why he cut his hair because, hey, you work for Beasley, man. I get it. Hey, all good. I appreciate it. Make sure you check out Birds 365 with Zander. John does a great job, by the way.
We're taking shots, Big Sales. Will you?
I love the fact, too, John looked at Jalen and goes like this. That wasn't me.
I got to get the shirt, man. Wait, so all right, I got an inquiry for the people in the chat. Maybe there's nobody, but I need somebody to help me with this. I have too much crap going on. I want to make a merch department for JAKIB. And a lot of people, some people are very good at this stuff with merch and printing it and making designs. And we obviously have to be copyright free. We can't use any Eagle logos or anything, but I need a Big Sill shirt. I need a I Didn't Write It shirt. I need Stop It with John McMullen. I need Big Sills. I need a whole bunch of shirts made. And we're going to give some out for the members. Obviously, we're doing the jersey giveaways. I'm looking to give away a bunch of stuff to the people that support this channel. I don't just want to stop at the Saquon jerseys. The financial contributions I'm going to pour as many of them back to you guys as I can. So if anybody can do merch or if anybody knows what the heck to do with it, if you could help me out, if you can get me some designs, I will obviously pay you for your work and your time. But reach out to me. Zander@jakibmedia.com is the email. So drop me an email, and I would love to, you know, work you into it, and definitely pay you for your time. So we appreciate that very much. Hopefully one of you can help me out.
That would be absolutely sensational.
Zander, I know everybody's dying to get their hands on a shirt that has Big Sills' ugly face on it with a it's Big Sills on there.
Let me tell you something, guys. If you
a dual threat shirt, that'd be great.
Dual threat. If you walked around Philadelphia with a Big Sill shirt,
Jack says Zander with a Z or an X. Come on, Jack. It's Zander with a Z, man. I know it's supposed to be X. Everybody's like, why is your name not with an X? I'm like, because I'm unique, all right?
Let me tell you this. You walked around Philly with a Big Sill shirt, everyone would go, you listen to that guy?
They would.
Holy shit.
Don't wear a Big Sill shirt to the link. You might get
no. That's where you wear it. Zander, catch you in the morning, my friend.
Appreciate you, Sills. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate all you guys, especially our new member, Jack Straw. You the man, Jack. Thank you, brother.
You got it. That's awesome, everybody. You guys have been sensational, man. I can't thank you guys enough. Please hit the like button. Don't forget, Birds 365 in the morning. Also, too, Farzi is part of that broadcast morning as well here on JAKIB. Hit the like button. We'll reset when we come back. Don't forget also, bottom of the hour here, we got Jason Cole, our NFL Inside Hall of Fame voter, and we got Ice Cube at 5 o'clock Eastern time right here on JAKIB Sports. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.